but it's close. I'm sorry, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, your time has come to an end, because now it's time to make food inside an underground dungeon. It's been more than months that people have been recommending me to read Dungeon Meshi, saying it's a very good manga with very unique characters and very interesting development. For me, who has a soft spot for fantasy stories, it would be the perfect story to read and so on, and yeah, I should have started reading eons ago, right? But now I have lost my pass of saying that I'm better because I read the manga before there was an anime, but it's okay, and since there's an anime now, I was annoyed one day on the side and then I went to watch it to see what's up with this master chef in a dungeon, and to my surprise, unlike many things on the internet, Dungeon Meshi is as amazing as they say. Not only is it good, but I would say it's the work I have had the most fun watching in years. I be like that little unicorn girl every episode that passes. It's simply fantastic. For me particularly, it came very close to the top of the best stories I have ever seen. It's so good, but whether you like it or not, it's a very divisive work despite not really trying. I mean, you have to be a very particular person to like Dungeon Meshi, and because it has a fantasy medieval feel and such, it attracts a lot of people by chance that aren't the type of person who will like the story, and as a consequence, it spits out a lot of people who come to watch a fantasy fighting show and end up with a slow anime with characters interested in everything except fighting, brawling crazy monsters or whatever from a action story. Because here's more interesting to see how a golem is used as a vegetable garden than a fight. It's the same situation as putting a person who likes shonen animes to watch slice of life anime just because the characters look a bit similar from afar. If you have a light on your face right after waking up, the person will simply hate everything that the anime about cute little girls doing cute little girls thing has to offer, because it's literally not the kind of story they expect. But we are not close to the Moe Moe explosion of 2012 anymore, so slice of life is a thing that a lot of people already know, which makes it difficult for anyone to go and watch it accidentally without liking the type of story, so whoever watches it is who likes it. But Dungeon Meshi ends up not having an established theme like that, beyond the medieval fantasy look, and it really attracts a lot of people who will hate it here, and there won't be any Chiku scream that will make them change their minds, because I mean, cooking anime in a fantastic world of monsters and magic, it's not a theme you see all the time. But if you happen to be another certain type of person like me, who likes very well made stories about magic, medieval, fantasy, with a sprinkle of a D&D adventure, Dungeon Meshi is one of the best things that exists, without any exaggeration, because like, these things that I mentioned there, you expect X things from them, and I'm sure none of the things you expect in a story about, I don't know, fantasy, it's them talking explicitly about the food they eat every day, approaching these cool themes with a different perspective, without being just fight, magic shining, wow, has incredible potential when you stop to think about it. And luckily, approaching it from a food perspective was executed in a sensational way, and the author did it very well. This really isn't the case of a story that has potential and doesn't quite reach it. Gyokokui reaches Dungeon Meshi's presented potential and even dances on top of it. A new, unusual story that makes your imagination soar in an environment that we already understand and know more or less how it works, even without the story telling you. It's a lot of fun to travel through the dungeon with the idea of knowing how the protagonist will deal with the monsters so they can eat at the end of the day. I love it, this perspective play is so good. Yeah, who knew it would be possible to eat slime or drink Anzin? Magchigu's reactions are perfect, and her voice actress is the best. There's no way the best character. But that's the thing, all characters are the best characters. You can ask 3 different people and all 3 will say say 3 different characters. The moment the dwarf appears and starts cooking, my friend, I was hooked then and there. Dwarves are really cool in general, and Senshi is even cooler because he's not a dwarf diggy hole, but a dwarf that is a businessman, farmer, and chef. I want to see you make a better exorcism ice cream than him. But anyway, Laios having his crazy daydreams about monsters and whatever. Chuck for... The construction of the characters, at least the main ones, are very simple. There aren't many absurd plot twists or crazy stuff that makes you lightheaded, but the simplicity is made with a beautiful charisma, which there's no way, when it's done well, you don't even realize it's a character made by someone. You 100% believe that this elf is walking around and cursing by herself, but the simplicity can be a trap. Some characters maybe fall a little off the seesaw and get lost, like this one. Nothing wrong with her, had a really cool and interesting story arc, but tell me if I remember her name. So this model of making characters has its flaws, and it's almost all or nothing. Either they are almost perfect, or they are, well, yeah, whatever. And this would be the main criticism of this story, even for those who really liked it. But even so, you get lost in here and just can't put it down anymore. One episode after another, one chapter after another, and you just simply enjoy it without worrying about anything. It has its funny moments, it focuses on random foods, but it also has an interesting plot behind it that helps the whole concept of the story keep running like a great machine. Yeah, there are times in the anime that they forget that their job is to animate, but it doesn't really matter if the anime direction is good, and it is, so you can't disregard it. You wouldn't receive this without a great anime direction. But yeah, you can write it down. Fine, what's your favorite anime? Yeah, until I change my mind 2 hours from now, after Yuru Camp, it's Dungeon Meshi. Although, yeah, we don't talk about Yuru Camp on this channel, so Dungeon Meshi is up there along with some heavyweights like Nichijou. But if I say that, it might be controversial, so stop thinking about that. Dungeon Meshi is amazing. It even inspired me to make something. Nothing better than a Dungeon Meshi. Ah, Dungeon Meshi. What?